I'm ready.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our April 7th Board of Commissioners voting session. We'll go ahead and do our roll call.
Now you want me to do his? You do Chrissy?
Yes, I'm right about on.
All right, is it showing?
All right. We have everybody present with Commissioner Gaines and Commissioner Thurman present by phone. We go to our invocation and stand for the invocation and pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us, Lord, and we just ask for your wisdom as discernment as we make decisions for the county, that everything we do will glorify you. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, we're right.
All right, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. We have the March 17th, 2022 work session minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Commissioner Satterfield,
Second. Oh, just like-
second by Commissioner Gaines. Please vote.
do I vote for? No, okay.
All right. Passes 4-0. Next, approval of the minutes of the voting session held March 17th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett,
Second.
second by Commissioner Satterfield. Please vote. That passes 4-0. Next, we have the approval of the agenda with one addition, and that being the consideration of the Office 365 email. Is there a motion?
So
Make a motion.
moved.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Do what?
Go ahead. You said, oh,
You made a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Uh,
Is it not accepted?
second.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear you.
y'all just getting too excited. Y'all just trying to.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett and a second by Commissioner Satterfield. Please vote. Passes 4-0. We have no one signed up for public comment.
No, sir.
All right, we will move on to a new business. Consideration, item number 1, consideration of repurposing space in the Dawson County Library. We heard that at our last work session. And I think we have some additional information here. Does anyone have any questions on that, or we need
You
to?
might want to come up here and speak to this a little. What you think? Oh, me, it's gonna take two.
Thank you, Commissioners, appreciate the opportunity. I just gave a sheet that says some additional information. The library received a preliminary free estimate from a construction company on proposed renovation repurposing. Due to the scope and dollar amount of this project, which that estimate was $671,000. The only grant we can apply for is the capital outlay grant. This grant is a 90-10 from the state for the first $1 million. The county would only be responsible for 10% of this project and the state the other 90%. In order to move forward and fill out the application, we need a commitment letter from the county saying that they will be responsible for their portion of the project. And then I just gave a definition of capital outlay grants directly from GPLS, Georgia Public Library Service, which is the definition of capital outlay grant. Would you like me to read that, or is that okay?
I think that's okay. So you're just looking tonight from us to agree to come up with a 10% of the funds
Right.
where y'all can apply for the grant.
Right, so I can't apply until the county agrees, and then we would then be able to get on the list. The second page of the documents I gave you is the, from the legislature. This is the capital projects that were put forward by GPLS this past legislative session. The ones highlighted in yellow were the ones that were approved by the legislature. And that is with the bonds and the things that, you know, that the state sells from GISPIC. And it just shows you that it's not necessarily that first on is first off. You know, the way, obviously, when we apply for this, we're going to be at the bottom of the list. And we're going to try and work our way up. And the way we do that is through community support, legislative help, and, you know, and by pounding on the pavement and a lot of letter writing campaign. The first opportunity we would have to get funded would be next legislative session, which would be for us fiscal year 24, which is next July, because it has to go before the state legislature.
Okay.
So that's the first opportunity, and there's no guarantee we will be funded at that time, is because we have to move up the list. And Senator Gooch, of course, is here, and he was, you know, instrumental in getting the London Library project, you know, moving forward. And he's well aware that we, you know, vacated the offices, you know, that we want to repurpose now. So once this is approved, I'm going to, of course, start a letter writing campaign, or start with Senator Gooch and tell him of the project that we're doing, because he represents us as well here. So, you know, be able to move this project forward and to get legislative support. In order to move our library, like when I've been speaking with Nate Rawl, who's head of planning and construction for GPLS, Georgia Public Library Service, he said it could, he said, not trying to be funny or facetious, but it could be like 1 to 9 years. Well, you know, one library was only on there for several months, and by her going down to the Gold Dome and doing a lot of, you know, legwork, they got funded in several months. One library took 7 years. So it just depends. And I think with our active county here and board, both commission and our library board and our regional board, I think we could probably move this project faster, especially since it's 10%. And we'd like to be able to do some of the fundraising, as we mentioned at our last meeting. I don't know if we have any word on that, to with the, our citizens to help with this project as well.
So can we use, since impact fees are for capital improvement, and some of those impact fees go to the library, can we use impact fee money?
I don't think, I think it's like.
Is it
books-
new?
Books.
It's
and-
for new?
Yeah, I
Huh?
don't think it's for construction.
It's not new.
Okay, so it's not for capital improvements?
Mm.
That's just splash money? So this money wouldn't come out of your budget, it would come out of the county's budget.
Only if you want me to close 3 days a week.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be out of the general fund, wouldn't it? I don't know where.
I think we should have our attorneys look at the definition of the way the impact fees work, because if you're doing an expansion of services,
Mhm.
and you probably get creative with that as far as expansion, then I think it may qualify, but I'd like to clarify that through attorneys.
We can look at it.
Mhm. What was it you said? I thought it was just books. I'm not arguing with Chris, but
I believe that it's in our CIP, the planning, down at the very bottom of that last page,
Uh-huh.
for the library, it says collection materials.
okay.
And then like for the fire department, it talks about trucks and ambulances
Mhm.
and vehicles, but the library is for those years. of collection.
Mhm.
So I guess we probably have to.
It seems like the whole premise of, and the basis of impact fees is to support expansion, to support income and growth of our community. And if the library is working to expand services and improve their service delivery, to be able to facilitate handling more people utilizing their services, then that may be qualifying for impact fees.
I just don't.
Update the CIP.
Yeah, have a book sale, we'll buy you new books.
Mhm.
Make money with the old
Manny's
books.
making a comment. Listen, what she said.
What's that, Chairman?
Just a comment. I think it would probably fall under impact fees if we were expanding the footprint of the current library, but the fact that we're not expanding the footprint and we're just kind of updating what we currently have, I don't know that it would fall, but I'm with Commissioner Gaines. It's good to let the attorney look at it.
And it sounds like we'll have some time because it'll be, the earliest would be this time next year
Right.
before we
Well,
would
we may
to-
have 7 or 9 years.
Yeah,
Hopefully not, because, we're ready.
That $67,000 probably go well over 100 by then.
Oh, yeah, that's true, that's true. So I guess we just need to table this until,
She needs a, I guess, a commitment.
Just a
Apply
commitment.
for the grant.
Oh,
without,
okay.
Yeah.
From the counties here. For the
So-
10%.
so that's all we need to do to, and no further than that. Is that what we're saying?
yeah,
Today.
Right.
yeah. That way they can go ahead and apply for it and see if we even get it before, like they said, it would be after the legislative session next year at the earliest. So we've got plenty of time to look into the funding of it. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve them going forward and applying for the grant.
We gotta do the commitment letter, don't we?
Give me a
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah,
So I'm in my motion to approve to issue them a commitment letter to apply for the grant.
Do they need to specify 2%?
10% of the.
10% of the grant, yes.
Have a motion by Commissioner Satterfield.
I second.
Have a second by Commissioner Fawcett. Please vote.
Okay, here we go, here we go.
Commissioner Gaines is
All right, passes 4-0. So we'll do what we need to get that commitment letter, and y'all can start writing some letters and trying to.
Thank you. The other question that we brought up last time was about, can we name any rooms? And was there a stipulation or anything to start, working towards that campaign to help defray some of these costs? Do you have any answer on that?
I can say that we've been looking at that question, and the research that we've done thus far shows that that will probably be a doable program on your end. And we haven't found any real hangups on that, but we will get a better substantive answer back out to the group.
Okay.
And
But
Lumpkin
yes,
County
Correct.
is doing that or has done that.
Yes, ma'am. We raised
So-
considerable funds for the Lumpkin Library doing that.
Yes, well, boy, I saw, it's pricey.
Yeah,
Get something
that-
named
that was-
after you.
That was based on their naming policy.
Oh,
So,
okay.
We followed, there was $50 a square foot or $10,000 or $10,000, whichever was higher.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
And
yeah.
people were anxious to name after their family or whatever they wanted to do. So I assume that would be the same here in Dawson.
Me too.
So very
So-
much. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Yeah,
your time.
once we get finished looking into that, we can get that back to you just to make sure that everything's good. So,
Very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2, consideration of request for additional staff for MS4 stormwater program. We also heard that at our last work session. Is there any need for any more new information?
I think, Chris, do you have some comments on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me personally, I think I would like to have more time to digest some other options. I mean, I know that it's my understanding that we're currently contracting some of this work out, and that there's been other examples within the organization of successful abilities to contract out some of these type services. And so I would like to see staff come back with an option of what it would look like if we did contract out to a third party, these stormwater services that you're presenting, we hire a full timer for. So my recommendation would be to table it until staff can come back with some other options for us to consider.
Are you want to turn that into a motion or?
Sure. I would make a motion that we table moving forward with hiring a full-time stormwater position and allow staff the opportunity to develop a plan B, alternative plan of potentially contracting these services out.
All right, I have a motion. Is there Second.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Gaines and a second by Commissioner Fawcett. Is there any discussion? Do we want to put a time frame on this or
I mean, I would leave that,
just leave it open?
may potentially be somewhat of a deep dive for staff to investigate a full-blown contract. And I know that procurement would have to be involved. So I'm okay with leaving it open ending to give them the opportunity and the flexibility to go about the process in their timeline. So I don't want to put a timeline on it.
Any further discussion? All right, please vote.
Commissioner Gaines is aye.
That passes 4-0. Next, we have item number 3, consideration of IFB number 400-22, single bathroom for Rock Creek Park Splash Pad Pavilion. This was also presented at our last work session. I think we have a little more additional information here with more of a breakdown of the cost of the bathroom. Is there any more information needed by the board?
I would like to see us go back out. I think the timing of this is not favorable to utilizing taxpayer dollars in an efficient manner. And I don't think it's, personally, I don't think it's us wisely spending taxpayer dollars. If it was my particular personal dollars, there's no way I would support this. And so it would be my recommendation that we either look at rebidding this or we table it until the economic winds shift and we see that construction costs are, in a different position than they are today.
David,
Yes, sir.
I know you and I discussed today that Mr. Talbert and y'all were looking at some alternatives in reference to maybe like a modular that they just bring in that might be cheaper. So I too agreed with Mr. Gaines on the cost of this particular item, and I think it does our due diligence to look at these other options that are out there, whether that be a rebid, whether that be a modular or whatever. So my recommendation to the board would be to just deny this bid and then look at the other options.
All right. Well, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the current bid that we have before us and to have staff be allowed to proceed with looking at other opportunities and other options to facilitate putting a bathroom at the splash pad.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Gaines. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Satterfield. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Commissioner Gaines is aye.
That passes 4-0 to deny the bid and to look into other options for the bathroom.
We want them to have bathrooms, but man,
It's just a lot of
we
money.
just can't have one that expensive. It was. I'm in the wrong business.
I still think we all could go down there and meet one weekend and build us a bathroom, but I don't know.
We do something.
They like our house.
You don't think so? All right, moving on to item number 4, consideration of annexation C22000143. The county attorney, do you have or
Sharon or somebody.
sure.
I'm sorry, what was that?
About the
Annexation.
What is this all about?
Yeah,
We're gonna have. Sharon wants to talk to the annexation. Yeah, the annexation.
Have any formal comments?
Molly and I had talked regarding how that process works.
A little bit louder, please.
Oh, sorry,
Just a little
sorry.
bit louder.
Molly and I had discussed how that process works. We didn't really formalize comments. It seemed like a small residential parcel surrounded by the city, so didn't
It's
have.
not gonna create an island.
Right, right. It is kind of its own enclave now, and it's
Yeah.
surrounded by the city, and it's a small residential parcel, so. didn't have it.
What's the size of it?
It's 3 acres.
3
3
acres. Yeah. Why, I still don't, well, I understand a little bit why we see these things, but I mean, there's nothing really we can say, is there?
No. I mean, as long as it meets the criteria for annexation and it doesn't,
Create an island.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if reviewing the application, when it gets filed with the city, the city under the statute has an obligation to notify the county, and the county has a limited amount of time to raise an objection to that and file that back in response to the city. And so the consideration of the annexation at this level is to provide the Board of Commissioners with an opportunity to direct whether or not an objection to it should be raised. And what I've seen and heard thus far is that no one has raised any issue that would be objectionable. And so it may be that there's no objection that the county would raise to this proposed annexation.
So what do we need to,
David,
Yeah,
if I understand this correctly, if we don't have an objection, we really don't have to do anything.
That's right.
Because
Just
unless we file
information.
an objection, there'd be no reason for a vote, correct?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
it's just information.
and as long as the attorneys don't see anything, that we can object to, then. All right, so if nobody has an objection, we just move on to the next item
Well, we just can't, I mean, there's nothing to,
we
we don't
nothing
have
to
any
do.
grounds to object. to,
Yeah,
you know, so.
So,
My question is, staff said they kind of looked at it, but has staff actually taken the time to do the due diligence to ensure there's no issues that are there? Have we taken the true effort to ensure that there's nothing in there that we need to be aware of?
Have y'all looked at it?
Attorney?
I know that the practice is to copy that over to our office when it first comes in.
So
And
have you seen it?
I haven't seen it until today, but as Ms. Sharon mentioned, she had some
already had contact.
preliminary discussions with Molly in our office about this annexation, and just in looking at it even today, as previously discussed, it's a 3 acre strip with a single family residence on it. I don't think there's necessarily a proposal for development or subdivision of the property. If there is, it wouldn't result in any change in the utilities that are provided to that 3 acre parcel, I don't believe, really. And it's surrounded for the most part by city jurisdiction anyway, except for maybe one parcel that
Yeah,
it
I'll
abuts.
clean that.
mhm.
I understand that this is, one small piece, but I think at the macro level, we need to ensure that we're looking at any annexation, because as we all know that annexations can potentially create more service delivery on the county's behalf without us having any say-so in what happens there. So I don't want to discard it simply being a 3 acre and let's just look at it for an hour to make sure that we have no issues. We need to very seriously take every annexation that comes before us at the staff level and at our attorney level to make sure it's not just a byproduct of what we look at on a daily basis. So moving forward, I would request that we kind of take a deeper dive on these to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's.
What is their timeline on this one, when to post an
Let's see,
objection?
it's going for them, and it may sell it or something.
I think we have 30 calendar days to post an objection, and it was dated March 14th, and we received it March 16th.
Sound like a grant from the state. They give
It
it
does,
they
doesn't
give it to you the day after it's supposed to be turned in.
If I may, looks like we might have about a week to provide any response. And if the direction is to have the city attorney's office or the county attorney's office work with staff to do further review and confirmation of whether there's any objections and raise those with the board such that whatever direction we might need in advance of that 30-day cycle running, we can take it. If you'd like to perhaps make a
Sharon, what
motion.
did
already
Molly say? Woo-hoo. Exactly what did Molly
They
say
didn't see anything to make a,
about this?
Just that they had received it and would we have any comments? And I didn't have any comments. I didn't know the protocol, to be honest with you, as far as.
Well, I think
Who
we may need
comments
to
on-
check into this.
I think so. too.
Yes, I mean,
I mean, I
I
think-
feel like we're just woo out here
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
I don't think there's probably gonna be anything that we can do, but if we've got a week, I don't see what it would hurt just to double
look.
check.
I mean, we talked about wasting county money. Well, I mean, citizens' money a while ago. It's 3 acres. We can't do anything about it. I think here again, that's, if we were gonna be conservative of the money we spend, then I think it's a waste of money that we can't do anything about, and we're gonna spend money looking into several hours of attorney's fees
but we don't
and have
know
the
if
same
there's
results.
anything. We don't know if there's anything we can do about, do we?
That's 3 acres surrounded by the city. It's not creating an island.
Mm.
We can disagree with it and say, yeah, we don't approve of it, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, I agree with Tim that this particular one may not be something that we want to put a lot of energy and effort into it. However, I don't want staff to disregard it as, oh, this is just 3 acres, let's move forward. I mean, 3 acres getting annexed, just look at what happened to the, as you finger out towards the motorsports park, a 3 acre track allowed that whole process to take place. So 3 acres may not be anything on the surface. However, we just need to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's and not discounting annexations as they move forward, because it's a long-term, it's a cost on the county to provide services regardless of what happens, and we have no say in that moving forward. So I do agree with Tim in the fact that we want to be efficient with the way that we utilize our attorneys, but we also need to make sure that we crossing our T's and dotting our I's. And based on our attorney contract, that should be included in our base pay regardless. So it should not cost us anything extra to go the extra mile to make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's.
Well, I'll ask, is there a motion? Or are we just gonna let it have no vote on it because there's no,
I guess we'll just look at it as information.
Yeah.
We don't want to waste money and if on the surface and you didn't see anything, so. I guess we just have to say yes, sir.
all right, well, if there's no motion to move forward with anything, we'll just have this as an informational item and we'll not protest it. Moving to item number 5, consideration of a cybersecurity agreement. IT director, do we have an amount for this agreement and the company name? I know we heard it in executive session, but as far as to make a motion to approve the agreement.
Yeah, it is Critical Path Security. And the amount is, the setup fee is $3,330. And then the monthly charge is $4,990 per month.
4,000 what?
990.
Are there any more questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the contract.
I have a motion from Commissioner Satterfield. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Fawcett. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Commissioner Gaines is aye.
Contract is approved 4-0. Next, we'll move to item number 6. Consideration of the Office 365 email. We heard this at our last work session. This is for, would be for the approval of $444,750.
44,000.
44,000, sorry.
You weren't gonna get that much, Armin.
My handwriting is not too legible sometimes where I scribbled that down. $44,750. And this would be for a 1 year's service from the date that we started pulling everything over. I know we've had a lot of issues with our email. And this would help alleviate a lot of that. Is there any more information needed on this?
So you're gonna take it out of your next year's budget?
That's what I heard. So
Remember that.
is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Gaines,
Second.
second by Commissioner Satterfield. Any discussion?
I don't want to see any more position requests.
This ought to open up 2 or 3, so. Please vote.
Commissioner Gaines is aye.
And that is approved 4-0. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment here?
No, sir.
All right, we do have a need for executive session for land acquisition. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Any vote coming out?
Is there
No.
no vote coming out, so we'll be done after this. All right, please vote.
Commissioner Gaines is aye.
That's 4-0 to go into executive session. Thank you all for being with us. And we are adjourned.